Greetings and welcome to my dear Scorpio fan. Welcome to my channel. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome. So this is an energy reading. I'll be using the Great Mirror, which is a tool that I've devised at the 9 card spread that will help you see the energy of you and a significant other. The significant other can be a person, place, or thing. And essentially, you can read into the Great Mirror what may be apparent or the illusions that may be apparent between you and the significant other. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, good. Interesting. Okay, so we begin with your part of the Great Mirror. The way this person sees you is someone who holds a lot of potential for them, to the point where it is such a connection that it is really intensely on their mind. And not only that, you represent a great deal of energetic resources for them on an emotional level, very deeply so here. With Scorpio season, there is a great activation here that is on the conscious level, in which the energies that flow through you are extremely lovable, and not only that, you hold this great reservoir of intensity. The Ace of Cups is here, and on the conscious level, it's either you have found love or you represent love to this person, or you represent the ultimate in some sort of way, the end all be all. And it's very important that this is treated correctly, whatever this connection is. Okay, interesting. This person is a bit distant, but there's a motivation here essentially to also give back to you something. There's a story here that has to do with essentially either the great empowerment that comes through a love connection and you waiting for them to initiate something in terms of an offer of love. But the thing is that they can't offer to you that which you already have, and I think you already have it, either for them or for yourself. There's a great deal of emotional capacity here that is very fulfilling for yourself, and you seem to be very content with that. This person, on the other hand, is going through some form of dry spell when it comes to that sector. They represent someone who is a free agent, or at least is freewheeling, or perhaps has a lot of their own sort of expenditures or their own sort of energetic um, conservative ideals where they can't really share in a certain way. They feel very at home. There's a lot of Taurus energy here within themselves, and they feel like they need nothing else. There's a lot of independence and a lot of steadfast sort of slowness to them. But still, they intend to nurture this connection, and I think both of you want some sort of offer. The thing that they want to give to you is a bit larger than what you're willing to take in this connection, and I think you want something lighter or perhaps something a bit more romantic. Well, what they offer is a bit more of like a pittance or like some sort of way to not demean you but to empower you through an emotional connection that they want to give you, but it's something that you already have. See, that's the funny thing. A great deal of love surrounds you, and not only that, you are a walking sort of embodiment on a conscious level. You know this already. You embody the Ace of Cups energy, which is a new beginning for love, a new beginning in terms of artistic creation or anything that has to do with emotional resonance. You have a great deal of it. This connection makes you feel like you're making a choice. It makes you very heady because, like I said, there's already enough emotional sort of either chaos or emotional intensity that is being channeled through you already. You don't need an offer, but you sort of want something that's somewhere in between an offer. It's supposed to be romantic, but this person is trying to offer you something more of like a nurturing energy. The fourth house is very strong with this person, a lot of Cancer and a lot of Scorpio as well with them. And that's what they want to give you. But see, you already mastered something in that respect. They may see you from a distance. There could be some sort of okay, interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So there's a revisitation here of things not finished, things not said, things that they have been working on. Um, and they've been very sort of wishy-washy, stagnant about it. A lot of Taurus energy, slow moving. Also, the ability to, much like Virgo, practically analyze a situation or work on two different things. A lot of Mercury energy in them as well, slow but steady, and also sometimes Uranian or Mercurial, very fast, chaotic sometimes. They seem to be sitting well within their chaos, and this connection makes them feel very important in some sort of way, like they are owed something or they deserve something. But that's the beauty of it, because it seems as if you are very resistant because you don't want to be burned in any emotional way in terms of love. You don't want to have the Three of Swords energy, so you've got a defensive stance, and you always have within this connection, or perhaps if it's someone new, which is also a possibility, new love can come, but this person is detached, and so are you in some sort of way. You expect them to come to you, but then um, deep down inside, there's something about you that's very sharp or perhaps double-edged, and it's very hard to penetrate your defenses or your defensive stance, which can be different thoughts or different psychological sort of barriers that prevent them from really messing with you in some sort of way. But that's, I think, what you want from this. Let's see here in terms of a bridge. Yeah, this person has a tendency to essentially want to play the game big time, and you want them to play the game in some sort of way. You find joy in that. This has to do with things unsaid, like I've said, things unsaid, things undone, or perhaps things that cannot be completed, and perhaps there's some sort of like ending, but then beginning from the ending here. That sort of makes both of you feel abandoned, but then feels like you have made the right choice in some sort of way. The bridge is strong here. This person is good at burning bridges. You're good at like sort of either walking the line between infinite joy and sadness within this connection. There is a strong there's a strong sense of duty in this though at the same time. Let's see. Yeah, be careful of this person. They are willing to use passion in order to initiate some sort of manipulation, or perhaps there's something about what they think within the connection, how they process the deeper elements of this connection, and it fuels them or it propels them in a certain way that makes them get off their ass. But it's not a really good motivation either. They also have a defensive stance, but they also have a very aggressive stance, and they're not against using either modes of playing or manipulation in order to get what they want. At the same time, there's something very passive about you, very, very passive. And I think it's very important for you to essentially take that passive stance and to use the emotional undercurrents that fuel this connection, um, which are more on the surface. It's as if both of you can read each other's sleeves, or the hearts are on the sleeves, as the expression says, and it's very easy to essentially understand more of the emotional capacities. But the passion here is what confuses you. There's something about you that has reached a sense of equilibrium, or at least a sense of spiritual dignity, and you don't want that tampered with. Not only that, there is also something about you not being able to receive fully, or being very despondent in some sort of way, because you cannot, once you are fulfilled within yourself, you cannot add more to it, um, in order to fulfill more. You know, it's like sort of over partaking in your own emotional or creative understanding, intuitive understanding. There's something about you that's deeply spiritual this month, and it has to do with essentially this mechanism where you cannot bridge the connection, even though it is a very strong, compelling one. Both of you see a very intense future, a very beautiful future in this connection. But you have taken the stance of either a diplomat or someone who's very despondent, like I said, someone who has a lot of Saturn discipline, as well as are waiting for the Uranian change or the shift in order to tip the scales and make this happen. You want to see this person work for it, but at the same time, you are inbuilt with a great deal of defensive stance, so that you can't be effed with within the connection. You can't be fucked with. Okay, um, that's an interesting complexion, considering there's something very passive about them, but also passive aggressive. This person is very passive aggressive, and they want to aggressively nurture the connection. You want them to nurture the connection, but not so much, not to force it, you know, because there's a tendency for them to force it and then come back out, come back in. It's very confusing for you. And because there's like this sort of revisitation of old energies here with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, the outcome is nebulous, to say the least, because both of you are torn in terms of the connection, because you're protecting each other. You're protecting each other's sort of independence in a way. And there's a lot of inbuilt mechanisms that block the connection, but both of you want this person to move on to your domain in some sort of way, to offer something. But the offer would come off as very either unaccepted, or perhaps um, 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 it's kind of like the motivations are based on emotional preservation of the emotional body, trying to understand and maintain barriers that are based on either time, or months, or the stretches of moon cycles. And there's a great deal of loyalty, as well as a fear of loss here, that is extremely compelling both of you to try again, or perhaps to try to reach this Ten of Cups. It's both on your minds, but you are trying to be very practical and detached from it, to approach the problem in a very methodological way on both ends. Both of you want to cement this and work hard on the connection, but at the moment, there is a period of either grace or a period of stagnation between you two, not willing to budge and perhaps a bit defensive. Um, mm, this person's passive aggressiveness comes from the transcendence of fear, definitely, in order to grow, or perhaps to make a choice towards you, who have been uh, equally manifesting this. You've made a choice to stand on your platform of glory, and there's something also about you that is balancing out a new beginning, as well as possible gateways into multiple beginnings that lead to a sense of happiness, or lead to a sense of um, mm, complete sort of expression of where you're going to, of where you are trying to explore. Okay, these places are places of the mind. Not only that, there are places that do not sort of cement either a clear directive of where you're happy or where you're sad. It's more of a place that's in between or beyond. There's something about you that has created or situated yourself in the energy of 4 here. And now you are not willing to let go or cut loose any of your sense of resources within this connection. But there you have it. Unfinished business, or perhaps something that was not said or done properly. There is a need to infuse a great deal of love here, 10 of Cups, plus the Ace of Cups on your end. This person also is on their own sort of spiritual and methodological practice, a praxis or a way of doing things that has to do with emotional nourishing, but also deep down inside, there's a very troubled individual who wants to essentially get what you've had in some sort of way, what you represent, what you are sort of doing, is very powerful to them. You represent a source of power, a source of energy, and they look to you to see if that is a reasonable thing. There's a connection here that is a difference between the 10 and the 4, the 6 of Cups. Very strong, very, very strong. There also is a possibility that you might be a bit confused on this connection when they make the offer, but it's funny because you want them to, okay? Um, mm, Complicated as hell. The advice is essentially to, within this connection, there will be a period of clear discernment, of clear understanding, um, by being patient. It's saying here that there's something out there that's going to essentially make this work if it's meant to be. Okay? It's your job to really clearly discern if the powers that be are the powers that have the rightful authority over your connection. If you fight against it, there will be trouble. If you are not rested in a place of rest or stillness, there will not be a new beginning between you and this person. So it's really important for you to find rest and also to get over any fears. These fears are what block the communication, if there are any blocks. If you are in communication with them, there is a possibility that most of it is based on an emotional expectation, especially one that they want to pull out of you. Um, but as they do that, they will try to deliberate, and there's a lot of push-pull dynamics here. I think you are very much empowered in this connection, so are they, and it's up to both of you to reduce the walls of adversity here in order for the connection to work. You have to sacrifice something that would be in the better good of the connection in general, but at the same time, not entirely stable for you. The sacrifice would take the form of a new beginning. It would meet the element of water and become the mud that would essentially crystallize or form between you two. It would make a good base for pottery, something, a way of craft here. This person is very crafty in what they do, and I think there's a possibility that they might do things so that things can work out, and so can you. But it's a matter of, once again, really trying to embrace this as opposed to repel it in some sort of way, as if they are coming into your fortress and trying to take over. They are not insidious, they're not bad people, but they might cause you fear because of some sort of aloofness, or perhaps some sort of, it's very puzzling what they do, okay? There is a secret here that they have that is based on, okay, interesting, a mature offer that would be shot down or would not be taking place in the right time. Both of you are moving towards the same direction that has to do with fundamental propriety, building up something so that things are balanced and they add to you in some sort of way. As you do this, there will be a lot of emotional undercurrent between you two, and this person and you are trying to negotiate some sort of promise, or some sort of, yeah, some sort of promise here, a great sense of promise. Right. Hopefully that helps. I think I've went deep enough. Not an easy read, very complicated, but that is what I expect from the 8th house. Yeah, if that resonated with you, please like. If not, I do appreciate you tuning in. I am available for further consultation or readings. Remember to find a sense of stability. Something about you is very rigid, and it's important for you to open up and let people in, but also make sure you know who is being let in, that they are trustworthy. As you do this, there is an ability to rework something. It won't be a sense of a total new beginning, but they might help reinforce or re, uh, they might help you to renegotiate certain aspects about what helps you to feel like you are protected in some sort of way. All right. I do wish you the very best, my dear Scorpio. Please take care now and goodbye.